The 2020 GMTK Game Jam just finished up on the 12th of July, and I missed it. So, I was on vacation the weekend that it happened, which was the 10th to the 12th, and, I was kind of, sad, but I wanted to challenge myself to make a game in 48 hours following the theme of the GMTK Game Jam. And, well, I did, and it's not the best game, but yeah, let's just get right into it. Alright, I started the clock at 7:15 p.m. on July 12th, and that's when the time started. And I had to think of an idea really, really fast because I wanted to get as much time as possible. And after about 30 minutes of brainstorming, I came up with the idea of a tower defense game with randomly generated towers. And basically, so the path would generate for a map, and then the towers would be randomly placed across the map, different types of towers, and you would have to upgrade them and defeat waves, just like a normal tower defense. To get started, I first had to generate the map, which the game was 2D, so that was quite simple. So I just created a few sprites and just colored them and, made them prefabs. And then in a basic script, I just generated a 8x8 grid of tiles that were, they look spaced, but what I did was just size them down a little bit. And that was the map done already. Now, there isn't a tower defense game without a path for the enemies to follow, which is what I spent about the next 5 hours doing, and it was, well, not the easiest thing, but it definitely wasn't the hardest thing. So basically, how it works is it chooses a starting point at the top of the map, and then it chooses a ending point at the bottom of the map, using these two functions on the screen right here to find the top edge tiles and the bottom edge tiles. And then what it does is it goes down from the top, and then it goes down a certain amount, then splits to go to the end point, and then goes all the way down to it. And that's just to create a bit more variety, so it's not just straight down or a straight diagonal, which makes it a bit more interesting and adds more pathway for towers to be placed along. With the path generation complete, it was time to add some enemies. So all I did was add a basic enemy that would just go through each tile in the map table or list, if you would, in the map generator script, and would just move towards it and check if it has reached that node, and if it has, move on to the next one. After implementing the enemies following the path and the pathway itself, I decided to hit that pillow and get some of that sleep. Alright, it is the 13th of July in the morning, bright and early, and the first thing I did today was I made some towers and implemented them to attack enemies. So the first thing was to create a sprite, which was just a very basic circle, a blue circle, and I decided to add a little bit of pizzazz to it by adding a gun barrel, which would rotate towards the enemies. And that just made it to where you know which enemy it is looking at. Next, I created a sort of expandable tower script that I could just create new scripts, inherit the scripts, and then change the functions with overrides and stuff. I could put some links if I do remember, because all the other links that I said I would link I didn't do, but I will leave some links to Microsoft's page about overrides and stuff for it to be explained a little bit better. But yeah, I implemented the towers, I got them to damage the enemies, and that was pretty much what I did for today. At 4 p.m. Local time, I had to go visit my friends till about 11 p.m. Just had some fun, hung out, and I didn't really have time to make my game because while I was hanging out, I was being social, which can obviously impact your game performance. So just be antisocial. It's good for your games. Alright, and it is the final day, the day of recording this audio as well. It was the 14th, and I had a bunch of work to do. I had to implement new towers, implement new enemies, add a upgrade system, add a buy system for the towers, add rounds. It was a whole host of issues to fix. But let's just break it down one by one. So the first thing I added today was the buy system. So I added a little basic UI with buttons, with a bit of text to show the item name and the cost of the item, so that you know how much you are spending. Now, for now, there is no money, which I implemented really late for some reason, but for right now, as it is, there is. Now, you may be thinking, why is there a biomechanic for towers when they were randomly generated? You see, a wise person in my family was like, Ryan, in tower defense games, well, placing the towers is the strategy. So if you're not, placing the towers, then, there's no strategy to it. There's no point. Come on. There's no point. And, well, my response was, yeah, it's a fair point. This game is absolute garbage. So I scrapped that idea and decided to randomly generate the other thing, the enemies. So I decided to do that, and it was quite easy. It was just taking the prefab and then just creating a static that I could just clone from another script, and it was pretty nice. It works very well. You get randomized health, speed, and damage, and the damage for the enemies is when they reach the end. In tower defense games, you would lose a little bit of health or something like that. So yeah, I changed the plan midway through this game jam from randomly generated towers to randomly generated enemies. I know, bit of a ballsy move. Alright, so the next mechanic that I needed was rounds, because rounds are one of the most important parts of tower defense games. So my method, which was a very crude workaround, was to basically in each enemy have 3 stats. The first stat would be the wave that the enemy will start spawning in. The second one is the round multiple that the enemy will increase its amount to spawn, and the just amount to spawn each or when you spawn the enemies. How many should you spawn? Now, the round multiple sounds confusing, but basically what it does is if the current round count, so if, let's say you're on the 2nd round, or 4th round, or 6th round, those are all divisible by 2, which means they are all multiples of 2. What I did was, for the basic enemy, if the round is a multiple of 2, increase its count by 1. Now, for the second enemy, which was a speedy enemy, if the round count was a multiple of 3, then increase its spawn count. And this makes it really easy because it's kind of a lazy way to increase it without doing some complex algorithms, and it was really fast, and I'm lazy. But anyways, it worked super well, and that is still what's in the game, because I didn't really have time to make a different one. And as you can see, it's well, you can't really see in the bottom right corner, but it's 2 p.m. at this point. I have 5 hours, so I had to slap something together. Now, you may also notice in some footage that there are bullets going in different directions when the towers shoot. And that is one feature that I added. Now, it is all visual. The bullets do not do anything. All the damaging to the enemies is done in scripts. But I just wanted to add, I guess tracers to where the towers are attacking, so the player would know what each thing is attacking. And I just thought it looked good. So that's why I added it. Kind of pointless feature. Wasn't required, but I think it looks nice. Alright, at this point it was about 3 p.m. and I decided, hey, there's not enough towers. We need more towers. This is a tower defense game and there's only one tower. This isn't a real game. And the second tower I added was a Gatling turret, which would basically have a short burst of 3 or 4 bullets, and then it would have a cooldown like the other tower. Now, originally I set the cooldown to be lower than the basic tower, but in order to counteract that, I lowered its damage to only 4 per shot, instead of, I think the other one was 20 per shot. So big difference, and technically the Gatling gun is almost the same DPS, but it's at the downside of you have to wait until 3 more shots come. And it is cheaper than the basic tower by $100, which makes it better if you're bootstrapped on cash and you just need a quick tower to place down and just get some quick DPS out. Alright, the next tower I added was this sniper. I'm pretty sure it's in its name. It's long range, does a heck of a ton of damage, And yeah, that's exactly what it does. It does a ton of damage, has a very large range, but the downside is that it has a way longer cooldown than all the other towers, making it only suitable to beat down the biggest of enemies. After implementing the sniper tower, I decided to add upgrades because that is another staple of the tower defense genre, of course. And there weren't upgrades, and we only had like about 5 hours left, so I had to really rush and get them done. So the basic plan was there would be 5 upgrades for every tower in the game, which would just add a bit of damage, a bit of range, and decrease the cooldown so that it would fire faster. And it was very simple to implement, had a few bugs, but at about, I would say, 2 hours before my time was up, I finished the upgrade system and got it working, and it was kind of glitchy, but at least it was working. The final thing that I had to get done after the upgrade system was the health and the reset screen, because at this time I did not have any health bar that would tell you to restart the game, which was kind of a bad part, or a bad thing on my part, because that should be like one of the first things you implement to a tower defense game. But I only did it at about an hour and a half to go, and I rushed, got it done, made a little UI above the buy menu. Not the prettiest thing, I would say, but it is definitely better than nothing and no visual representation. And then the final thing that I added was the reset screen and the little counter at the top that would say like the level starting, or the round is going, or how many enemies are left, so on, so forth. And yeah, that's about it. I guess here's some gameplay footage of it. It was not too great. A few glitches, like you can see, like it's showing a negative number for the amount of enemies alive, even though you can visually see many more enemies than negative 100 or something enemies alive. But I am pretty proud of what I did in only 48 hours, as this is my first game that I have ever completed as well, even though I've been doing game development for like 2 years. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I guess this is the time where I say make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also check out my Discord server. Link is in the description. You can ask for help there. I'm on most of the day. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Maybe the next one will be a tutorial on how to make a tower defense game. I don't know. You have to wait. But anyways, guys, see you guys later. Bye.